Yes, we got the prize actually.
I will.
Shall we take it?
You got kisses like footballers.
We've always, thought that it's better to keep the organization as small as possible. We don't believe in the model of the publisher having to be big and big and big. Actually, you can see that lots of publishers are shrinking. Even these mergers is just an excuse to sort of to cut down and to become smaller, because I think that the capitalist approach to publishing doesn't work. So we really believe that small is beautiful. I mean, not just that small is beautiful, but I think small is a good model for publishing, because you can look after your authors, you can give a very good service, personal service, and you can put all your passion. Obviously, if you are if you have to look after a list of 300, 400 titles a year, you cannot give the same attention to all your authors. Whereas for us, both from an editorial and marketing and promotion point of view, all our authors are equals, and that's what
makes a big difference.
And that's our forte, and that's why I think we are successful in a way.
And also the sales and distribution is dealt by Bloomsbury, so it's not, we have a big team of representatives and distributors all over the world. So in fact, the authors have got not only the personal and the personal care of a small publisher, but also the strength of the big distribution, so they can get really, I mean, classical cases, for example, Anthony McCartan, when we've got a worldwide distribution for his book, and as well as,
also selling the rights to many countries. Yeah, it is. It's a very big challenge because many people are giving up on classics because they think that with the ebooks it's just a text, you just put it on available for everyone, it's public domain, and they just download it for free. So how can you sell something that is available elsewhere for free? However, we believe that you can add value to classics in the way you present them, annotate them. And we still believe that the book has a great advantage over a handheld tablet. It's much handier, it's much more beautiful, and it's something you want to treasure and keep and pass on. And so we had a tremendous success with our classics list, more than we hoped. And there is still, I think, a strong and vibrant market for classics. There was a film recently which wasn't terribly successful in this country, but even before the film we went through 6 printings of The Great Gatsby, and we sold 35,000 copies since the beginning of the year. So that's not bad.
But it's not only for The Great Gatsby, because we had
we have a series, an entire series of Fitzgerald works, and they've all gone through reprints. So then there is The Night has sold 15,000, and others in the series have sold between 5 and 10. But also there are other success stories. When we were at Hespers, and even now, some of the unjustly neglected books that we've rediscovered for the English market went on to sell 5-figure. So 10, 15,000, some of them. So our minimum print run for classics is now 2,000. So that shows that there's still an appetite for...
Well, there are also a lot of projects that we've done, like for example the first translation into English of the diaries, complete diaries by Bulgakov, and
a new translation of Lampedusa's shorter prose. So yeah, we have also these kind of very highbrow projects that are very welcome, because very few books get translated into English every year, only 3 or 4% of the totals. I wouldn't say that I translate myself, but my experience as a translator is very important when I come to editing the texts. And also our knowledge of languages, because in our small office we cover 6 languages at mother tongue level. So we have someone who can speak Russian, French, German, Italian, Spanish and Portuguese, 7 languages actually, at mother tongue level in a small office. And this is what makes the difference, because when we have a problem in the text, when there is a quotation from Latin or from this, we have someone who can actually resolve that problem, and that's a great skill to have in a small office. So I think our experience as translators informs everything that we do, and it's very important. Sometimes I have to translate, but I wouldn't do the whole book. I cannot do the whole book. I don't have the time. And we have very good translators anyway, most of the time. But our experience and our knowledge of languages, our experience as linguists and translators, I think it's what makes the difference between us and other publishers in this country. I would say from a commercial point of view, I would say that companies such as Bloomsbury are an inspiration for us, and we work very closely with them because they started as small as we were, and they managed to grow through a series of successes, not just the Harry Potter, but they built first, investing in translation, and there are some very good editors there, and so it's not just a matter of money, but they managed to invest and to attract a lot of great authors. So that's a model from a commercial point of view, or Faber, for example. But from a personal point of view, for me as an editor, great publishers of the 1950s, 60s and 70s. Giulio Einaudi is the one that comes to mind. Also more recently Roberto Calasso, who's my editor, my publisher at Adelphi in Italy. And John Calder in this country. We've worked with John. We inherited his list called the publication, founded in 1949, and we still interact a lot with him. We publish most of his books. We've repackaged them, and but also Christopher McLehose, who's a great independent, who's done great work at Harville and now with McLehose Press. So these figures of people who've devoted their life to literature rather than just commercial gain and success.